Class can continue.
All right. So it is 9:05. Well, it's about to be. So I am gonna start class. Um, Thursday class is usually gonna be a little bit quicker than the Tuesday one because I don't really have any new announcements. The only thing was I'll ask you guys later, but in a poll, uh, we had like another AP meeting or webinar or whatever, and they told us that if you guys have like a printer, you can print out the text, and so you'd be able to sorry, uh, you'd be able to print it out so you can annotate on the margins if you wanted to. It just sucks. Like if you don't have a printer, there's no way of getting that done. And I don't really have a printer unless I drive around with my wireless one and just like plug it in random places and then have you guys print and then go. But that would waste so much time. So that's not going to happen. So yeah, it stinks. I'm sorry. But I know that you guys will do great regardless of whether you can annotate on paper or you annotate like you just make some notes on the side. Um, so what we're gonna do today is like what your assignment for today is actually really easy. And if you remember and if you already turned in the work from Tuesday, it should even be even more easy. Okay. So all of the oops, hold on. I showed the wrong one. It has the answers.
Oh,
Hang
come
on.
on. Yeah.
It looks like technology is being dumb today. So I'm gonna try to make this as quick as I can. Um, so all that you're doing today is I went ahead and I uploaded already the assignment. I put a copy of the text. Don't worry about the highlighting on my paper or on my version. But I put the text so you can reference it. And so I want you to essentially you're numbering the body paragraphs, and I can do that part for you. So you have one. Ooh, that's super large. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. So there are 9 body paragraphs. What your job is going to do, what your job is that you're going to divide them up. So which sections go together, which section has a similar topic, which one has a similar argument, and there should be 3 sections total. Um, and then once you've done that, you're going to provide analysis for one. Notice I say one of the sections. It has to be either section 2 or 3. These instructions look a little wonky, but I fixed it on your version. Um, so you're either going to do section 2 or 3, and you're going to write a body paragraph. Now, remember to follow this format. So your topic sentence is what's the argument of the section. The easier way to do it is what's going on here. Ooh. And then for evidence, you already picked rhetorical strategies and you already did analysis for them. So evidence, so this part should be pretty easy. All you have to do is reference your assignment from Tuesday. So we pick something from that section, which rhetorical device was used. And then on the explanation, you're just telling me what the quote means. This one you have not done. So you're gonna have to tell me what are they saying. Right? Maybe they're saying that the house is blue, but they're talking about how sad everyone inside the house is. Like, you're telling me what it means. Once you've done that part, then you tell me, how does it make the audience feel? What does it push them to do? If you notice, this is the exact same question that you answered on Tuesday. So you should already have these answers. Now, I know someone mentioned to me that you can't see the comments once you turn it in. That's okay. What I'll do right now, I will literally go through the class periods and return every single one. I can still look at it. I can still grade it. But I'm just returning it to you so you can see your own comments. Does this make sense to you guys? Can I have someone answer? I just want to know that you're hearing all this. Thank you, Ava. So I have an example from section 1. So I covered it because I didn't want you guys to see it yet. I learned cool things from this app. It's one of my favorites. It's a super expensive app, but I got it for free when I worked at Apple like a million years ago. It's now been like 3 years. But I want you to do the same thing. I want you to label it. So in the beginning, notice how I use, there's a different color, but there's a transitional phrase. And this transitional phrase is meant to describe what part of the section or what part of the text you're talking about. So in the beginning, maybe section 2 could be toward the middle, comma, sorry, section 2. Section 3 can even be labeled, like have a transitional phrase of toward or in the end. So whatever transitional phrase you want to use, just make sure it makes sense for that section. So you can't be like in the end for section 2 because that doesn't make sense. It's not at the end. But have a transitional phrase. And then here, Alexi speaks to how his father's love for reading pushed him to love reading, which in turn made him different amongst his community of Native Americans. So that's what the first part is about. The next part is his example. For example, Alexi uses an anecdote. So there's his strategy. About when he first learned what a paragraph was and how connecting paragraphs to his life helped him really understand what when they meant not only in books. Well, that's supposed to be what they meant not only in books, but in his everyday life. So again, all I did is give the example. Referenced text. Now, in your evidence, you either want to reference the text or use a quote. Either way, it counts as an example or as evidence. Now, what you want to make sure is if the quote is longer than 5 to 7, I'm going to write it down again. If quote longer than 7 to 9 words, then reference the text instead. So how that would be referenced, so you can say in line 12 through 15, he says that paragraphs work like fences. So again, the only way the reference would work is if you tell me what line it's coming from or where it's coming from specifically, and you just paraphrase it. So all of that is okay. And then the explanation, this helped the author compartmentalize himself, his family, and his community, and where each of them belonged in the context of this country. Again, it's just clarifying what that means. It's literally just explaining this. And then last but not least, it's that connection. By doing this, The author, the Alexi. Alexi forces the audience to really comprehend how low in the food chain he was, just like then, and helps inspire who they may become despite the obstacles they face. So the only way the only way you can do analysis or that analysis will work is that you need to know who your audience is. Now, this was done on Tuesday, and some of you guys still haven't turned it in, that's fine, but well, it's not fine. You want to get it turned in. But who's the audience right now?
Isn't it the Indian children?
So
Native
it's
Americans.
for sure it's Native American youth. I would have also accepted the answer of young people of color. Because I mean, an article like this or this text, even though it's specific, like he's talking about Native Americans, he's talking to everyone who's in similar shoes like this. Like people of color like us, sometimes people don't expect us to become anything, but we can go against those odds and be anything we want to be. All right, this looks like a mess, and I'm sorry. I'm gonna put lines here. So this is all that is due for tomorrow before midnight. And part of the reason why I made it so short is that I wanted you to finish your journals as well. So together with the journals, or the two journals, remember it's one personal and one article of the week, and then this body paragraph. Honestly, if you just sit down, put your phone to the side, it shouldn't take you more than an hour. And even an hour is being conservative, because if this part you already have, you should have this part done already. This part is the hardest part here is you have a quote. The hardest part is honestly just figuring out what that section is about. And even then, you just got to reread and look through it. Remember, in my last YouTube video, I have a recording of me reading it if you need that, or if you prefer to just follow along. Either way, does anyone, I mean, you have all the things you need. Does anyone have any questions or need help with anything?
Might you scroll back up real quick?
Are you asking about this part?
Yeah, yeah, all that directions, 1 and 2.
So separate the text into different parts. All you're doing is when you're reading, there's different sections. There's 3 different sections. You're just separating into those sections. So I numbered the paragraphs for you here. That way you know that there are 9, and all you're doing is telling me where section 1 starts. So section 1 starts paragraph 1, and it ends in paragraph whatever, right? And then the next one would be, if this one ends on paragraph 6, then section 2 is going to start paragraph 7, right? And then just tell me where it ends.